The 5-year strategy tries to address 7 key challenges. We know that child sexual abuse is not defined well. There's very little awareness about it in the community still. And so one of the key priorities for the National Centre is to define and identify ways for the community to make sure that they have the knowledge and they have the confidence to know it when they see it and do something about it. When children or adults first tell somebody about their experience of child sexual abuse, the response they get is positive, it's believing of them, and it's compassionate. And if we don't get that response right, then what happens is that children carry that trauma with them for a long period of time, and we know that.
So we've got to make it easier for kids to tell. We've got to have an openness within the professional community, within the community at large, to be willing to hear some of this stuff. It's difficult to hear. We'd rather not think about it, but we can't leave kids on their own in it. So we've got to find ways to help the community understand how important it is to believe children when they tell us. I think what's really important for children and young people in this strategy is that we recognise the massive barriers and obstacles and ways in which children have to take responsibility for telling someone, not knowing whether they'll be believed, not knowing if they're going to be safer as a result of telling.
We know that children and young people who engage in that kind of behaviour have experienced a whole range of adverse experiences in their life. They've been exposed to things like pornography, and they're acting out experiences that are making it difficult for them to have a positive and healthy sexual development. The more we know about harmful sexual behaviour that children and young people engage in, the more likely it is that we're going to be able to keep all children and young people safe. Often victims and survivors don't come forward because they're not expecting services and different organisations and different responses to actually provide them with what they need. We need services to be more understanding of the needs of survivors and to change the way that they practice. And that's another key challenge that the National Centre is going to try to address through its work.
So we know that people who've experienced child sexual abuse can be impacted in different ways at different ages. And we know that people who've experienced child sexual abuse often experience it repeatedly. It's often ongoing and it's often perpetrated by the very people who are meant to care for them and nurture them. And so that we know that we have to respond to people's needs at different times in their lives.
The National Centre is going to try to understand what the model of prevention means and how to have it implemented across the community and across service systems. And we've got to address those messages, and we've got to address those early upstream factors that cause child sexual abuse.
Children can't prevent something they're not responsible for. Adults can. So I think we've got to change up the conversation about what preventing child sexual abuse is.